I'm super excited to be with you today because I'm going to the US of A to meet an incredible artist. He is such an amazing vocalist. Oh my goodness, and what a lovely guy. I just can't wait for you to meet him. So I don't want to talk too much at the moment because I just want to get there and introduce him to you. So I think we should watch one of his videos that's on his YouTube, which you need to be subscribing to. This is called Chasin Moonlight. This is from this week's special guest. This is Jarreau Williams.
Get away from all the work we did today. Time to play. Sundown, cruising all around town. Now energy is rising over the horizon. Rhythm of the night, bringing everything to life. Seeing everything I like, yeah. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight. Ride, ride. Top down, going 95, feeling so alive, staying out till 5, let's ride. Rhythm of the night, bringing everything to life, seeing everything I like, yeah. Chasing moonlight, to get to daylight. Chasing moonlight, to get to daylight. Gotta go right now, get everybody stopping now. When it all goes down, everybody's looking out. Rhythm of the night, bringing everything to life, seeing everything I like, yeah. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight, yeah. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight, yeah. Chasing moonlight to get to daylight.
Oh, bloody amazing. Let's go and meet this man, this week's very special guest, the amazing Jarreau Williams. Jarreau Williams, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you doing, mate?
Man, from one J name to the other J name, I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for having me.
Funnily enough, back in my youth, in my innocence, in my when I was signed to like record deals in London, my stage name then was Jaden Williams, funnily enough.
What? Stop.
I could prove it, but I've actually siliconed the frame to the wall, so I can't actually take it down. But yeah, my stage name was Jaden Williams back in the day.
Man, this is fate. This is just a divine interaction. So
that's
I'm happy for it, man.
So
and if it makes you any better, man, my brother's name is Jaden.
No way.
I'm dead serious, but it's Jayden. But still, Jaden and Jaden. So
that's okay. That's
yeah, man. But thanks for having me, bro.
No, you're more than welcome. So you're hollowing all the way from kind of Washington DC area, US of A. What's it like there at the moment?
Yes.
What's the general weather, political mood, musical mood? I mean, how is it living in Washington DC at the moment?
You know, it's living in Washington D.C., or as we call it here, the DMV, so D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Northern Virginia. It's a very collaborative hub here, man. We're all very supportive of one another when it comes to the music scene. That's just something I'm very fortunate to be a part of and always willing to give to. Currently, the weather is about 40 degrees, 45. We've had a fluctuation over the past 2 weeks where it snowed 5, 6 inches
Really?
one day, and then the next like 4 days later it was 80 degrees. So it's very much like the political climate here. It's
I noticed
hot
that
and cold.
seeing little trends at the moment. Then that's kind of everything is confused.
Right, exactly. And it's funny because everybody hears Washington D.C. and then you immediately think politics, and obviously yes, we're the center of all that. But here we, for those of us who are native to that area, we just, no matter what's going on Capitol Hill, we just keep rocking and rolling. So
Well, I guess it's the same. I mean, if you're into politics, it's going to be like that at any part of any state, right? If that's your bag.
any part.
Not
Yeah.
like I do try and ignore it until I can't ignore it anymore. But I mean, I would rather more creative and uplifting things than
Yeah.
than who
And
wants.
it's like that for us every day. We're around it all the time. So we just, when we're ready to speak up about things, and we speak our minds, and then make sure that we're advocating for ourselves, and then otherwise we're just carrying on with our day, and being musicians and artists, and bringing our platform to light, things that we really care about.
And keeping the world in balance because there's so much shit. We need more music and light and lovely things to go. But you haven't been drafted
Amen.
military or any war or anything going on, because there was rumors about England. I had to phone my mum. I was like, Mum, you haven't been drafted, have you, for World War III? She's like, I've got false teeth and glaucoma. They're not going to ask me. I'm like, okay, you're all right. Just making sure. Because, once you're on the TikTok machine and it's like, people have now been drafted into the army to face World War III. I'm just like, well, I've not heard anything. No one has yet. No.
No,
Right.
no. And I'm gonna keep holding on for hope. So
Good
you
man.
know,
Good man.
yeah,
And more time to do music then. That's lovely.
absolutely. That's what it's all about.
So are you native Washington, D.C. or that area, or was you born somewhere else in the States, or?
No, so I was born in Alexandria, Virginia, which is about 10 minutes outside of DC.
Okay.
So I am, pure this area through and through. Lived here my whole life, outside of going to college. And like I said, this is where I'm from. It's this, it's part of me every single day.
So is there a great music scene there?
Oh man, it's an amazing music scene. I mean, we don't get enough credit, unfortunately. It's when you think about music in the US, you're obviously thinking about the big cities like New York and LA and Chicago, Atlanta, Austin. There's so many different music hubs here, Nashville, obviously.
Yeah.
But when you think about the DMV, it's so diverse. There's so many different genres represented. And like I said, the beauty of it is that we're all so supportive of each other. We understand that, yes, a lot of times we're competing for the same stages, but we're also trying to help each other get on those stages because we all understand we can build the shows, even when venues tell us no. We can make our own spaces and our own stages. And we just want to see each other win because there's just not that same infrastructure that you see in a lot of those other cities when it comes to like labels and, representation. So, we really just have to work hard and make it our own, but we're all just very supportive. And I love the music scene here, man. It's right up there with any other major city.
That's amazing, man. And amazing to hear that people are celebrating each other's successes and supporting each other. Where, as you said, it really is about shit. It's all about me. It's all about me. I've got to get there before him because, but you're the only Jarreau Williams. I'm the only Jaden Cornelious. So even if I'm semi-similar to, or you're semi-similar to somebody else, you're the only Jarreau, right? So
Exactly.
it'll be like like you said, the whole music scene should be very supportive of, like, and even more so now when there is so much crap going on that we're the only ones. I mean, the entertainers, the the artists, the creators are the only ones that are kind of bringing any good news and light into the world at the moment. So even more reason for us to be holding each other up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because music is that combining force, right? It's a thing that, is constantly bringing us together, no matter what the issues are. And we know that it can always come from a real, genuine place. We can always use um, some of our most traumatic circumstances, even. I know you and I are going to talk about that later with one of the songs that I wrote. You can use, even your darkest moments as a moment of light for other people. So it's just so important for us to, continue to use our gifts and be confident in using our gifts, and not feeling like there's too much of one thing already that you can't let your voice be heard. I think that's things that a lot of musicians and a lot of artists struggle with. So yeah, I'm very happy that our community continues to strive to do that.
I have to say, mate, you have an amazing gift and an amazing because your voice is incredible, mate. You have
Thank you.
an amazing voice. How did it all start for little mini Jarreau? Were you in the music family? Were you the only musical one? Was you getting down to I don't know, Elvis or Enya when everyone else was into R&B? How did it all start? I just want to know all about it.
So growing up, I watched a lot of Disney movies as a kid. And it's one thing when you just watch the movie and you like it. It's another thing when you finish watching it, you hit rewind immediately, and then you watch it all over again until you know all the songs, all the lines. And that's what my parents told me that I would do growing up. I would just study the movies and learn every bit of it. And it's funny too, because I still do that even with movies that I've seen, dozens of times. It's like once you kind of get locked in on something, it's just something you can't let go. And so yeah, that's how it started. And then my dad was also a singer. He was in a band, and kind of is built up a journey kind of like I did, for a lot of his teenage early 20s. And I sang a lot in church. In my elementary school, I joined choir in the third grade. I had my first solo in fourth grade, doing a talent show. And so it was really involved in music and theater all the way up through high school. And it wasn't until I was nominated for a musical theater award that I kind of saw it as I could do this as a career. When your peers think so highly of you to nominate you for something. And so, but then I got involved in the naysayers and everybody saying, well, music or acting, what can you do with that? Is that going to make you money or whatever? So when I went to school, I was studying psychology for a while, go figure. But then after a couple years, I just knew something was missing. It just wasn't bringing me the fulfillment that I hoped it would. So I took a couple theater classes and went to go see a play as part of that requirement. And I kid you not, Jaden, it was like I sat down in the theater. The show hadn't even started yet, and I just knew. I said, "This is me. This is where I belong." So, just kept exploring that journey. And then back in 2014 was when I released my first song. And then from there, I said, you know what? I want to put a band together. I want to, be an artist. I want to make more of my own music. So started doing EPs, started releasing singles, playing shows, playing venues, all that kind of stuff, to where we are today, where I'm doing it full time. So
were your
yeah.
family really supportive, or were they like, well, you need to get a good job and you can do it in your spare time, or were they like, no, you go, son, do it?
I think it's a little bit of both. It's like your family wants the best for you, but not really understanding what it takes to do what you do. And so, my family has always been very supportive of me because they saw how much I was invested in it. They saw how passionate I was about it. And yeah, you can't help but say, well, what's your backup plan? Like, what's your plan B? And for me, it was like, I don't have one. There's not, because there's nothing else that brings me that much passion. Now I can go work another job, and I've worked other jobs, and I'm gonna do the best that I possibly can at that job because that's just how, I was raised in terms of work ethic. But nothing brings me the same passion and excitement that it does.
No, absolutely. No, I completely.
Yeah,
It's where you feel that it's the only place you are you, 100%. No, I get that. I get that. And
exactly.
I was saying to a guest a couple of months ago that it was never I was always very, very shy and the worst self-esteem issues, very, very insecure. So it was never, ever the industry of choice because it's such a shithole industry as far as, especially if you're trying to make it sign to record deals and stuff like that. It's so cutthroat, so not supportive, so attacking that, it's not always the best environment for someone who's a little bit, oh, just killed my cat, for someone who's a little bit shy and insecure, so but even if you try and run away from it, you can't. It hunts you down, like you cannot escape because you don't feel completely who you are. Even the most nerve-wracking insecure day in music, I feel more of myself than the happiest day in something else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's just one of those things. I always hear this. It's just like what is meant for you will find you, and that was a journey I had been on. I've always been a man of a mantra, like go in the door that opens the widest,
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I was on that fence of acting or music because sometimes it's tough to do both.
Yeah.
And at one point in my life, acting was the bigger door, and I was doing TV shows, I was doing commercials, I was doing background roles in movies and all that kind of stuff. I was doing all that. And then after a while, like music started to creep open a little bit more, and now that's just been the widest door for the past like 8 years. So it's just one of those things. It's like no matter how much life tries to take you away from it, if it's meant for you, if you're passionate about it, it will always find a way back.
Absolutely. So in this process of becoming, who were your go-tos musically? Like, who were you? Like, who was your go-to for being inspired and inspiration? Who was your go-to for sitting back and relaxing and forgetting about maybe crap times that were happening? I mean, who were your influences back in the day?
Oh man, well, hands down, it was Michael Jackson. That was I mean, that was the inspiration just from watching. And it wasn't even just the music and the music videos. It was like I was watching a lot of like the behind the scenes stuff, just seeing how he would work, seeing how he would create an experience and build a show, or even like the making of Thriller, for instance, or Moonwalker, like with Smooth Criminal and all that kind of stuff. And again, I used to watch those all the time, and I just there's various songs like Human Nature is one of my it's probably my favorite song of all time. It's just the way that song kind of puts you in the feels. But it was between him and Whitney Houston and Luther Vandross and Prince and Stevie Wonder. Even I'm a movie kid, but I'm also like a video game buff. So it's like I used to grow up listening to a lot of music just in video games. So that's how I got hooked on like Rob Zombie and Good Charlotte and a lot of those things that may have been out of my scope. But it just goes to show that music is existent everywhere. It's like it's a piece of everything that we do, and that's why it's just so important. But yeah, to answer your question, like those were the key artists that I would always listen to, and that's who my parents listened to. And it's like once you found a song or an album that you just really locked in with, that becomes the soundtrack of your life.
Completely. And do you still go back to those artists now, or because you've? I mean, no doubt you become more eclectic in your listening because of where music is always being presented. But like in those particular times, do you go back to MJ and to Whitney and to all those people? Are they still?
Yeah. I think part of it too is because in order to be great, you want to study who's great and who was great in their time, and you also just want to see it's not necessarily just about copying what they do verbatim, but just learning how they went about their process. And everybody's different, and I just watched. I don't know if you've seen it, but it was a documentary on Netflix about the greatest night in pop when
Just started
um,
watching it. I just started watching it.
dude, it was one of the most inspiring things that I watched because to have that many artists of our lifetime, the greatest, singers, songwriters, entertainers in our lifetime, all converge in the same room in one night and put this thing together. But it wasn't just about their greatness. It was also about we don't see when they're rehearsing. We don't see when they're getting into a back and forth banter about how to write a song or how to make a song great. We also don't see when they get nervous being in the room with their peers. Like they can be intimidated too by the stuff that goes on, and I really found that fascinating because I think there's a cloak over that sometimes. We only see the final product with the people that we consider to be great. So to kind of see them go through that process together and see the nerves and see the work.
Right?
Yeah. So I love that. So to go back on that and see that it for me, it's a relief as an artist because I'm like, okay, I'm going through the same stuff that they're going through. We have some similarities in the journey. It's not like they're just all the way up here and it's nothing we can't attain. It's easily not easily attainable, but just knowing that we're on the same playing field in some aspects.
Absolutely. No, I had a record deal back in the 90s, so I met a lot of people that I used to kind of idolize, and I was like, the first thing I noticed was, oh my god, they're really short, and I'm short. I'm only 5'6" and 3/4. Do you know what I mean? But I was like, "Rah, they are really. Like, I'm taller than the Spice Girls, mate. Like, how did that? Like, oh my goodness! Not only were they really short, but like they were just once you kind of got out of your head who they actually were and what they'd done, um, they were a mate or they were your neighbor or they were the girl in the shop. Do you know what I mean? They were just really, so and so who was really. I think Gwen Dickey. I saw Gwen Dickey sneeze. I'm like, oh my god.
Like, wow, you did something human. What?
Oh man! And I got to know a little bit, not amazingly, but I did get to know Olivia Newton-John better than I. She was always my muse and one of the most beautiful women on the planet in all areas, creatively,
Yeah.
beauty, and her heart as well. And everyone said to me when I was becoming famous back in the 90s, they were saying, "Be careful. Don't get excited about meeting your idols because a lot of them are arseholes and will really crush you and disappoint you."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm really lucky that all the idols that I'd met and have met up to date have been some of the loveliest people I've ever met in my life. So down to
Man,
so chilled.
I will tell you right now, as a part of my overall like journey in this, I will always tell this story, even 30 years from now, is I would not, I honestly would not be in this position right now if it weren't for Michael Bublé. And I'm not contributing all of it to him, but it's just that one of my first paid singing gig at 19 was backing him for one song on his tour when he was in our area. And it was a part of like this choir, and he has That's Life, which he covered from Sinatra.
Yeah.
So there's a choir on that song. So when in his concert, he always books like a local choir. And it just so happened that a guy that I was working a summer camp with was in charge of this choir, and he asked me like, "Do you know who this is?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course." He's like, "Do you want to sing with him?" I'm like, "Heck yeah!" So that experience, he is one of the nicest, most down to earth people that you will meet, and he doesn't treat you like you're lower than him.
Wow.
And I really appreciated that about him. And it's also the fact that after the show, I saw him, backstage in the hallway, and I shook his hand. We took a picture together, and I asked him. I said, "Do you have any advice for an aspiring singer?" And he was just like, "Don't stop." and it was very, simple in the advice, but he was so genuine in saying it, and I've just kept that with me ever since. And that was, you know, over 15 years ago when
Wow.
that happened. So when you talk about meeting people you look up to, and meeting your quote unquote your idols, which is tough for me now because a lot of my idols are gone.
Yeah, me too.
You
Yeah.
know, it's like Michael's gone, Whitney's gone, Luther's gone. It's just there's so many people. Prince is gone, that are kind of like in the soundtrack of my life that I'll never get to meet. And it kind of debunks that myth for me, or like that I don't want to get to experience that, and that's unfortunate. But then when I have those type of experiences, like I just said, it really does put it full circle, and you're just you feel grateful for just being in that space with that person.
And then you have to become that person for somebody else, right?
Yeah, exactly. And but it's also great too. It's a great learning lesson of how you want to interact with people if you do get the chance to be in that space, or have someone come up to you and be like, "I've seen you perform all these different places. I've watched you, da 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 da." And just I just always wanted to make sure that me as an artist, I was always someone, or I am always someone who is always willing to send the elevator back down and help somebody else get what they need so that they can be greater, not as a competition thing, but always just, giving somebody that next piece of the puzzle to help them get to whatever level of greatness they want to get to.
And it's also about being a nice person. I also met some assholes, to be honest, as well. And
Yeah.
it's quite interesting because, like, I've never really got. I think I got a bit stage struck when I first met Olivia Newton-John because of the whole Grease thing, and I didn't be her or marry her. Like, I really didn't know. Like, she was just all encompassing in my life at that particular point. She was amazing. So I was that was the first time I ever got starstruck. But because you kind of start seeing singers and artists that are established, but they are still just regular human beings doing better than you, or
Mhm.
whatever. It's quite interesting that some of the worst people I met weren't the big stars. They were the advancing stars. And I just kind of thought, it's really weird because you're in a people industry. So surely you need as many people as possible, whether you're on your way up or on your way down, to love you and like you and be the nicest person you could be. I just never understood why there were some, you know.
It baffles me too, and I've seen that side of it too, where I think it comes down to those people not having those moments of being humbled.
Yeah, maybe.
When you're surrounding yourself with people who are constantly telling you yes, and constantly telling you you're the best, and things like that. And again, we don't, we who are we to know what has happened in a person's life to make them the way they are, but I think that the main thing that I found is that the people who are like that just don't have that sense of humility. And one thing I've always, tried to do as a person and as an artist is, you understand what your power is, you understand what your gift is, but understand that at any time, at any moment, that can be taken away. Like, it can be here today, gone tomorrow. I mean, yeah, I'm sure you've heard the term. It's like talent will get you there, but character will keep you there. And I've always believed that, and I've seen it. I've seen it. Where you could be the best player in the world, and if your attitude is crap, then no one wants to play with you. So
And we've
yeah.
also seen the fragility of the industry since COVID, where everything.
Mm.
So, we've just seen that actually we're not really all that, because we can be taken down by one bug coming over from China.
Anything can happen, or at any given day, any given year, any given time. Yeah.
Absolutely. So tell me a bit about Grammy Recording Academy member.
Yes. So I am a voting member of the Recording Academy. I joined the Recording Academy in 2021, and it's great to be in the same, fraternity or group, however you want to call it, of people that get to vote and nominate Grammy-winning artists and have a voice in the diversity and the evolution of the Grammys. We've seen over the past few years a lot more artists, diverse artists being recognized for their work, or expanding the finalist group. And so, one, it's just a testament to the persistence in terms of releasing music, because obviously you got to have some type of minimum works requirement in order to be considered to join. And then also you have to have two members who are already in the Recording Academy refer you or write a recommendation on your behalf. So to me, I see that as a testament to the connections that I built in my area. And then also just the persistence to keep putting music out, and hopes that, one day, I can continue to write songs and maybe even be Grammy nominated
Some
myself.
voting for you on the Grammys. That'll be amazing, mate.
Yeah, I mean,
Tell me about it when it happens.
So say that again. I'm sorry.
I hope you'll come back to the Jaden show and tell me all about it when it happens.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah.
So tell me, what's happening for you at the moment? What's going on for you musically at the moment?
So I recently finished up very busy winter corporate season. So a lot of what I do is, in addition to making music, is I'm in like agency bands, or like doing the corporate wedding circuit. So this year, obviously, like post COVID, has been like really just run and go, and take what you can, and very much like feast or famine in a way. So, we just finished a busy winter season with that. And then recently I've just been working on a lot of features with local artists, or even other like US artists that I've met like during the pandemic, or on, Twitter, now X, or Instagram, just people who, we just talked during the pandemic. We got to know each other, and we just kind of reached out and said, hey, like we should work on some music together. So being able to work on features with those guys and has been a great experience. It helps to kind of get me out of my box a little bit and how I write, and just to see somebody else's process. So right now I've got about 7 features that are slated to release this year, barring any setbacks. And then I'm also just taking time to write myself. Just I think one of the things that really started during the pandemic, when we had the time to do it, I just made it a mission every day to take like the first 10 or 15 minutes of each day when I wake up, and just write what was on my mind. And that could be a lyric or two, it could be a whole verse, it could be anything, a hook or whatever. So I just constantly create this note on my phone and just put in random lyrics, and then sometimes I'll come back to them and finish the song, or go from there. But yeah, that's really where I've been at right now. It's just continuing to collab, and then obviously writing my own stuff, in hopes that next year I can release another EP, or release another album. And eventually in the next 2 years, I would just love to be on somebody's tour, if it's not my own.
Amazing, man. I bloody hope you are. That's amazing. What would you say has been the highlight of your career to date, apart from the Jaden show?
Hey, this is
I
a moment
understand
of the
it's up
century.
there for a lot of people.
Listen, let's talk about it. The fact that we are doing a show together on different continents, and listen, big ups for that. I think one of the biggest things that I've loved is having the opportunity to sing in front of President Obama.
Okay.
That was something I did back in 2012. Towards like the end of his first term as president, he came to my church for Martin Luther King Day, and just to be in the same building as him, and what it means, for me as an African American to be 50 feet away from the first African American president. It just it was a moment that I'll never forget. I think that is definitely one of the top highlights of my career. In addition to just the places that I've been able to travel because of music, it's when I just always think back to when people ask me, music, where is that going to get you? Where is that going to take you? Well, last year I went to India.
Yeah.
I went and sang in my friend's wedding because of music, or going to LA or going to Texas or Florida or going to the Caribbean and doing all these, fun gigs because of music. And now next year having the opportunity to come to Europe for music, So those things right there are a true highlight for me because it's just another example of doing what people said couldn't be done.
I get that. I really do get that. I remember I never wanted to do any of the music competitions because I kind of was really anti anyone being judged for whether I like their style, their passion, and whatever. It's not my business because they're
Right.
the best that they are doing, right? So for me to judge them on that is not fair because I'm not Bob Smith or whoever, I'm just being Jaden and I only can judge from what I'm doing in my life and stuff. So I never like people being judged for their talent because I think everyone brings something different to the bag. However, I was kind of, spending time in like meditation and that at the time. And I was like, come on, universe, just open some doors for me. And
Yeah.
I got scouted for one of the big competitions and I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And my friend said, well, look, you've been asking for outlets, so go and do it. So I did it, and it was a complete sham. And actually, it was horrendous for me and my career and my mental health, I think, as well at the time. And basically, it got to the stage where I was in front of the judges. So I literally went straight to recording the final audition before I got accepted. That was it. And so from the emails to you're already through, but you have to film the final audition. And then I filmed it. They got all the footage of me when I was in, a pop group in the 90s. So they knew exactly who I was and what I'd done and everything. And then
Mhm.
it was really funny that the judges, they changed the song 2 seconds before I went on stage. So I didn't know what I was singing. They didn't tell me what I was going to sing. They just said, well, you can't do that song. I'm like, oh my God. And then literally push you out on stage. And then within 2 seconds of me singing, one of them pressed that. But I've never
Oh,
See, I've never watched it, so I didn't know. Do you carry on? No one told me anything, so I just stopped because I thought, oh well, they don't like me, then I'm through. And one of the judges, they wanted obviously me to cry or me to get angry or something because they were like, if you think you're good, why are you standing? Why are you saying you're not bothered? Why are you just standing there? Why are you not fighting back? And I just went, I kind of said, because I don't need your approval. And they went, what do you mean? And I said, I said, they said, you can sing, Jaden, but you're never going to make it. I said, if your definition of making it is a 10-bedroom mansion with a pool in Beverly Hills, then yeah, I'm probably haven't made it. But I'm traveling all over the world, meeting the most phenomenal people, working for amazing charities, doing evenings with Jaden Cornelious to raise money for for an orphanage in Romania or an HIV and degenerative disease charity in Atlanta, or and I'm getting to do all of that. So this is a little boy from London. I think I have made it actually because traveling is getting me to meet amazing people. I don't have a swimming pool, and I live with my mum, but I'm loving my journey completely. So it's right. It's the journey is also I believe the journey is the destination actually.
yeah, it's amazing the places that this particular industry can take us, and to your credit, I've had, my very similar thoughts when it came to the competition shows. And it just it always seems as if you're never going to make it if you don't come through us, and that's never the case. If people want to go that route, then great for them, and we've seen the success stories with that, and that's fine. And I feel the same way. I auditioned. I don't remember the show Glee from the 2000s. I auditioned for the Glee project, which was kind of like the spin-off of Glee, where they were looking to cast the next member of Glee. And I just remember going to this huge cattle call in New York, and we all go in a room, and there's 6 of us in a line, and each of us is singing like 30 seconds of one of the 6 songs that they gave us. And then after we were all done, one by one, they were just like, okay, thank you, none of you will be moving forward. And then you just walk out the door, and that's it. And that's not the regular. It's like, we're playing these gigs, and you're just there interacting with people who love your company, and you're doing something for them and helping them get away from whatever it is that's on their mind for that particular day or week. That's the payoff.
Yeah.
That's the payoff right there. So yeah, like you said, everybody's journey is different, and that's what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it beautiful. Whether you're trained at the top schools in the world, or you're just a kid with a dream and raw voice and just trying to figure it out day by day, and just continuing to work. It's just so many ways to get there.
Absolutely, and it's amazing. Like you said, when someone has just been recording, like tracks in their bedroom, can be just as famous as someone who's gone to Juilliard or whatever the English School of Arts is, or whatever. Like,
Right.
there's a place for somebody, and like you said, if that's, I always now, as I'm older, I have 0 expectations, which means there are 0 disappointments. And the only reason why I do everything is because I enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm always surprised, and there's never a disappointment because I'm not expecting anything anyway. So it's really, really cool. So talking about future expectations, what are yours, mate? What does the future hold? What are you hoping, apart from being on someone's tour and releasing more EPs? Where is Jarreau Williams going in the next 2, 5, 10 years? Where do you see your project moving?
I mean, obviously the biggest thing for me is, continuing to get more vulnerable with my songwriting. I think that's something that a lot of people may not talk about when they say, like, what's the future of or what's the trajectory of their career. I've just noticed over the past couple of years, I've really kind of taken the training wheels off when it comes to how I write, when it comes to the things that I've written about, and not being afraid to be open, and honest. One thing I really care a lot about is, mental health, and, eliminating that stigma behind it. So I definitely want to connect more with that community as I continue to write and I continue to release songs. Another thing that I've always been looking to do is find new ways to get back to the community, and then obviously, just through the money that I've made through music, or I'm making through music, I want to establish scholarships for high school students who maybe want to pursue music or pursue theater, and be able to give those out yearly. So that's something I would look forward to wanting to do. And the biggest thing is just defining who I am as an artist. I think I'm in my mid-30s, and there's still that journey to be had. And I think now we're starting to see this trend in music, thank God, where it doesn't matter what the age is. You're seeing artists in their mid-30s, late 30s, early 40s winning Best New Artist, or winning Grammys for the first time, or finally getting seen and recognized. And so it's helping to eliminate that stigma that after a certain age you peak and you can't get out there anymore. So that's why I just still.
I'm 51 years old, and I think I sing better now than I've ever sung in my life.
Man, what?
And I saw Olivia. I managed to get to see Olivia Newton-John when she came back to England for just like 10 years ago. She was 73. She'd done 2 hours. She didn't stop dancing. She sang the hardest, she just didn't stop. She was a phenomenal live artist for 2 solid. At 73 years old, that girl rocked the Royal Albert Hall in London, rocked that shit. So
yeah,
No, I just think it's amazing that you don't have to be 18 with a six pack in order to achieve anymore in this industry.
Yes, and that's been one thing for me that I know personally I've struggled with a lot. You know, I've been quote unquote plus size black male in this industry is not for the faint of heart. I've had not necessarily labels, you know, tell me, but like trying to do distribution deals and had people tell me that, you know, I'm not going to make it because of my weight. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but in the age of Lizzo and all these other artists who,
Barkley, everyone, right?
yeah, Jelly Roll, like, I mean, it's, you can't say that anymore. You can't make, that's not an argument anymore. You know, so I just really want to be able to continue to walk confidently in that, and you know, being who I am as an artist. And then obviously, as I was pinpointing before, I want to continue to make music on a larger scale so that I can tour, because that's the one thing in my career that I haven't done. And it's like that's the one thing I really want to check off the list at some point is being able to tour and just having that experience of going from city to city to expose more people to who I am as a person and who I am as an artist. Because I truly do believe in my music. I wouldn't be here in this interview with you if I didn't believe in my music. You know, I truly do believe in my music. And there's, you know, obviously it's just getting it to the right ears and finding the right community, you know, of people who love the same things that I do. And you know, eventually I just want to be able to continue to capitalize on that and get it to a point where I can continue to support myself, support my family, but then also, you know, give back to my community, give back to the younger generation that's coming up now and trying to find their way in the industry. And I've always just been a person too of, I just don't want to help mold artists. I want to help build businesses, because that's what this industry is. And a lot of people sometimes don't recognize that they only see the artistry of it without recognizing how much of a business it is and how much you have to be on top of your P's and Q's there in order to get back on stage.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I really want to focus on those things and yeah, just continue to see where the music takes me.
That's amazing, man. Well, I wish you all the untold luck in the universe, because you're not only are you a real gentleman, you have an amazing talent as well. So now people are completely in love with you. Where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so they can find me on Instagram at iamjarreauwilliams. Also on Twitter/X, Facebook, same thing. And then in terms of my original music, it's on all streaming platforms: Bandcamp, Apple Music, Spotify, you know, YouTube, wherever. All those people just search for my name, Jarreau, like Al Jarreau, if people know who that is. If they don't, Jarreau, like row your boat. You can also go to my website, jarreauwilliams.com, and everything I just talked about is available there all in one space.
Amazing. Jarreau, thank you so much for being on my show. You're an absolute star, mate. Really, really, really enjoyed chatting with you. People at home, before you decide to put the kettle on and make yourself a cheese sandwich, don't go anywhere, because not only are you going to see another music video from this young man, you also need to be going straight to all his social media platforms and all of his download and streaming platforms as well. Downloading, following, sharing, retweeting, commenting, liking, whatever you can do to show love and support. Get off your little keyboard and do it now. That is what I suggest. Mate, will you come back and talk to me not only when you're incredibly famous and doing Grammys, darling, but also just when you've got your new EP out and when things are happening, will you come back to my show and tell me all about it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm going to call you up, shoot your DM, all the above. So thanks again, Jade, for having me. I really appreciate it.
Mate. You take good care of yourself, Mr. Williams, and we'll catch up soon.
All right.
See you later, buddy. Bye-bye. What an absolute wonderful gentleman. I just hope he becomes the muse and the icon for so many people that are getting into the music industry now. Jarreau, thank you so much for being part of my show. I really, really appreciate it. And if it makes you feel better, I've just learnt the theme tune to Part of This World from Ariel. and The Little Mermaid. So I'm feeling the Disney with you, brother. We're good. Thank you so much, wonderful people at home, for watching and for spending some time on your precious Sunday with me. I'm incredibly grateful and humbled by the fact that you watch my show. So please let me know where you are. Please comment below. It will be lovely. Please do go and follow Jarreau on all of his social media platforms and check out his music on all of his music download and streaming platforms too, including Bandcamp, or the other ones that he mentioned and that you saw running through the interview along the bottom of the screen. Go and show him some love and support. He's an amazing guy. And you're amazing. So how amazing that I'm getting to introduce you to lovely people. Thank you so much for watching my show. Please check me out on my other social media platforms as well. Please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video. Please comment. Please hit the tinkly bell if you haven't already, so you know when the next show is coming out next Sunday. So you're one of the first people to watch it. Share it with all your friends, your neighbors, your family, even your enemies, because as I've said before, maybe they won't even be your enemies any longer once they know you're introducing them to lovely people on this YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with a song called Fear by the amazing Jarreau Williams. And I will see you next week on the Jaden Show with another fantabulous person. You take very good care of yourself. Have a wonderful new week. Stay beautiful. Take care. Bye.
I'm the monster that whispers in your ear, the major threat to everything that you hold so near. What's the itch that makes you put your hands in your pocket? Ooh, it's me, the boogeyman, lurking in your closet. My essence makes you shiver, cuddle up and quiver. Every night you think of me, you won't escape me ever. Take you for a ride, you better run and hide. Ravenous, dangerous, I am the demon, the nightmare that's living in your sheets. I'm the villain, a killer of everything so sweet. Creep down on one knee, look below and you'll find me. My name is Fear, and dreams are what I eat. You never want to see. Mr. Sandman won't save you when I reach. Tossing, turning, anxiety is burning. Blood in the water, I'm thirsty for meat. My essence makes you shiver, cuddle up and quiver. Every night you think of me, you won't escape me ever. Take you for a ride, you better run and hide. Ravenous, dangerous, I am the demon, the nightmare that's living in your sheets. I'm the villain, a killer of everything so sweet. Creep down on one knee, look below and you'll find me. My name is Fear, hey! And dreams are what I eat. Are you good enough? Do you have what it takes? Got you questioning every move that you make. Is it good enough? Do you know what to say? Is it scary? Yeah. I am the demon, the nightmare that's living in your sheets. I'm the villain, a killer of everything so sweet. Creep down on one knee, look below and you'll find me. My name is Fear. I am the demon, I am the nightmare. I am a villain, I am a killer, oh yeah. Fear is a demon, fear is a nightmare. My name is Fear, my name is Fear. Oh, dreams are what I eat. Ooh, yeah. Dreams are what I eat. Ooh, my name is Fear, and dreams are what I eat.